Welcome to Salt Bake Mini. I learned about a method for laser etching tile a while ago, and I thought I would give it a try for my backsplash. You use a particular type of spray paint and put a couple coats on tile, and then laser etch them. So I designed a mini tile pattern and gave it a shot. After laser etching, acetone could be poured on to easily remove paint. Right here, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole process. It took me a couple of times to get the sizing and placement just right, but once I did, I went ahead and etched the two side panels on one tile. I put the blue painter's tape down to help cut straight lines and to protect the tile from being scraped while I'm cutting them. Once cut, I cleaned them and took a look. Looks good. On my back wall, I cut 3 holes for the oven, refrigerator, and window. I used construction adhesive to glue the back tile to the back wall and even out the adhesive with the tile trowel that I 3D printed. I made sure to measure twice and even used my cabinets to make sure it was lined up correctly. The side panels were attached the same way to my angled wall pieces you may have seen in an earlier video. While that dries, I can go ahead and build my window frame. I forgot to cut a hole for the sink tubing to go through, so I went ahead and drilled one out. For the lower tile pieces, I just cut some scraps in roughly the size I needed. I can now place my window frame in and use white silicone to attach it. I put everything in place and use them to make sure my sidewalls are at the right angle. The cabinets can then be placed, and I use silicone for them as well. I made a hood fan for the oven out of wood, and after painting it, decided I didn't like this shape. This one has a much better shape to it, and I think it'll look much better. The top part is 3D printed and the bottom will be out of wood being a little more heat resistant. I gave it a quick sanding before my favorite method of smoothing 3D prints, Bondo putty. Spread it on, and once dry, it can be sanded smooth. For the hood's grease trap, I printed 2 frames. At my local dollar shop, I found this splatter screen for cooking and removed the screen. I cut a rectangle a little bigger than this smaller frame and used the frame to bend the wire mesh around it. I know making a working oven hood may be a little overboard, and a grease trap even more so, but I like the idea of building things that not only look good, but actually work. After making 3 of these, they can all be stacked together and the outside frame can be used to hold them in place. I use a liberal amount of super glue to make sure everything holds together. The grease trap is then placed into the hood. For the fan, I found the same motor that was in the RC car I used for the fan in the refrigerator. I printed a frame and a fan for it so it could be placed into the hood flute. I can then solder the wires together so they don't come undone. After soldering the first wire, I realized I forgot to put heat shrink tubing on and had to redo it. Heat shrink tubing insulates the wires and keeps everything held together. It also has an added benefit of making everything look good. I test the fan to make sure it's working properly. I place a little frame inside the flute that will stop the fan from falling down. A second frame will go on top and hold the fan in place. I drill a hole for the wire and silicone the hood vent in place. I don't like the look of the bare wire and have a piece that will be covering it, but for now, I'll call it good. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and let me know what you think.